all new show coming to Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel, The Real Deal with Devin Jackson, up next. I'm Devin Jackson reporting for Touchdown Alabama Magazine. I'm joined by Stephen M. Smith, one of the GOATs for Touchdown Alabama Magazine. He's covered a bunch of Alabama football games, has done a bunch of things for the Alabama football team as well, and he has hot insight each week, and I'm glad to have you on the show this week.
Oh, man, call me the GOAT here, man. I feel privileged. I'm way too young to be feeling this old as Drake would say right now.
A nice Drake reference to get the show started. But let's go ahead and dive right into the game. Alabama won 51-14 against the Louisville Cardinals. And speaking of which, we had, a lot of chatter from the Louisville Cardinals as well. The receiving corps saying they have a big day against the Alabama DB since they were young and inexperienced, but they definitely showed them up in the game and when it came down to crunch time.
Huge performance from Alabama's defensive backs. You talk about the two wide receivers. Dez Fitzpatrick, the chatterbox of the group last year, had 9 touchdown receptions to lead the team. And Jalen Smith, the leader of the group, led the team in receptions and receiving yards. Both guys held to a combined 3 catches in the football game over the weekend. Deontay Thompson, Shaheem Carter, Savion Smith, Trayvon Diggs. That entire secondary, phenomenal job clamping on those guys. Now, of course, they let a couple of big plays get away, some confusion at times in the middle of the field, and Taj LaPointe, a defensive coordinator, will clean those up. But when you talk about shutting down one of the more lethal groups, wide receiver-wise in college football, take your cap off to that defensive secondary. They did their job.
That defensive secondary did tremendous, but of course the story that everybody's talking about, Tua Tagovailoa, he had an outstanding game, 3 total touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 rushing. He completely, captivated that Alabama offense.
Not only just the offense, Devin, the fan base, for the longest of time, it's always been, for the quarterback, just keep the car on the road. We don't need an A performance from you. Just give us that B or C. We'll find a way to get by. We can recruit the A talent around you and just make it work with what you have. Well, I think the national championship game against Georgia, something finally clicked, not just for the fan base before Nick Saban. You don't need to only have the talent around the quarterback. Now you need the quarterback, especially in this day and age where you have the influx of spread offense, the influx of these young offensive coordinators that can put different schemes together. And when you talk about a guy like Tua, now you have a quarterback that commands you to watch this offense. You can't use the bathroom while this offense is on the field because you think, oh my goodness, I'm about to miss something special because of Tua's ability to distribute the ball all over the field. 8 different guys caught a pass, including Devontae Smith, who led the team with 99 receiving yards. With Tua out there, it's just a complete different vibe for this offense.
You saw Jalen Hurts got in 4 drives, and they only produced 3 points. Now, if you're in Jalen Hurts' shoes, what do you do? Do you go ahead and, continue the season and you get those 4 games and that counts as a full season? Do you go ahead and redshirt, graduate in December, and leave? There's a lot of options for Jalen Hurts right now.
This is a pressure situation because with Jalen, we kind of almost forget, 2016 when he came, he was a freshman. He was 17 years old, hadn't even cracked 18 years old yet, and he came in, he emulated Deshaun Watson for that first-team defense in the first national title matchup against Clemson, the one that Alabama did win in 2015, and then he comes in freshman, pushes everybody for the starting job, gets the job, and does so well under the tutelage of Lane Kiffin. Everybody's got the Hurts So Good hashtag on their shirt, and all of a sudden, Tua Tagovailoa comes in. He brings a different feel, a different dynamic, a different element to the game, and it's one that Jalen Hurts has, but he doesn't have on a consistent level. And when you talk about playing against somebody, competing against somebody that may be light years better than you in a particular area, that's a tough pill to swallow. But because once again, Devin, I go back to this point, the Tide fan base is tired of seeing a quarterback just manage the game, just keep the car on the road. They want to see, can we really have a guy that dominates the game from all facets? They look at guys like Johnny Manziel, guys like Deshaun Watson, Cam Newton, that at times took over a game and you could not stop it. Alabama fans are wondering, can we finally have that guy on our side that takes over a game and the defense can't stop it? And to this point, it seems like Tua is that guy. And if you're Jalen Hurts, there's some options you have to go over. Do you play all 4 games? Do you pursue a transfer now? He graduates in December. He graduates between December and January. We'll see what happens, but right now, he's in a tough situation.
Speaking of changing the game, let's talk about one of your favorite players, Jalen Waddle, completely lighting up in all facets of the game. Had a deep pass from Tua Tagovailoa during the game, almost scored. He should have scored on that play, and then he also had another score that got called back, that punt return touchdown. Talk about Jalen Waddle and his impact on the return game, receiving game, everything for Alabama.
Devin, this young man is the human joystick, and I heard it all summer long from a lot of credible sources I know within the program. Just dirty, freakish athleticism, tremendous speed. He is the closest thing to David the Deuce Palmer back in 1992 that Alabama fans have seen in quite some time. And Deuce Palmer, when he touched the ball, it was like you couldn't look away, because the moment you looked away, you missed the greatness. And that's when you talk Jalen Waddle potentially. When his hands touch the football, it's a natural field. His first step is quick to the inside, quick to find the wedge on special teams, quick to find the open space in field. You brought up the catch he caught, thrown by Tua Tagovailoa. Fingertip pass. I thought he was going to score. The footing kind of messed him up there, but then the punt return broke wide open. I think the flag was called on Josh McMillan for a block in the back, and Bama fans were like, oh no, why on that play? The kid from Houston, Texas gets to the end zone, but special kid, Jalen Waddle. Special teams is about to become fun again.
Now, they have an upcoming game this weekend against Arkansas State. What are you expecting from this game? Do you expect to get more questions answered about the quarterback situation going forward? Do you expect the defense to answer some questions, or do you think that will be towards an Ole Miss game?
I think in this game is more so of cleaning up some mental errors. You're going up against an Arkansas State team that doesn't have the amount of talent as you have, but Nick Saban never overlooking, never underestimating the opponent. We've seen that in previous years in press conferences from Coach Saban, where you overlook the opponent and you get a water bottle thrown at you. So he's going up against this Arkansas State matchup, getting some mental errors cleaned on defense. Of course, you want to see what transpires more in the quarterback race. I feel like at this point, though, Tua Tagovailoa has taken the not only major step forward, but he's almost to some point secured the job. I mean, Nick Saban came out today and talked about, look, Tua will start this weekend in our home opener at Bryant-Denny. We'll work Jalen in some packages, but Tua will start. So provided Tua goes out there, continues to build on what he's already done, this will be your starter moving forward. But more than likely, in a game against Arkansas State, you're just looking to clean some mental errors, strive more so towards that perfection, and just get more so of what that identity fully is. Another thing I want to see more of is in the kicking and punting game against Louisville. Austin Jones made a field goal, missed a field goal. Want to see that consistency from him. Here's a kid that's coming over from Temple, graduate transfer, made 80% of his kicks the last 3 years. Want to see that consistency from him. Skylar DeLong, the exact same deal. You lose J.K. Scott to the National Football League. What a weapon he was. You bring in Skylar DeLong, a guy that was highly regarded coming out of the Tennessee area. South Carolina, Tennessee area, but can he come in here and do some things against Arkansas State that'll be worthwhile in the punting aspect?
Speaking of punting and kicking, it will be crucial down the stretch. And let's talk about the SEC West big picture. LSU won this weekend. Auburn won in a close game against Washington this weekend. Mississippi State rolled in their game as well. Some of those top teams in SEC West are looking really competitive. What are you looking forward to most this season as the season progresses along? Of course, Alabama has Ole Miss coming up. In 2 weeks, they travel to Oxford. That will be one of their first big tests. But what do you see big picture, how the SEC West might play out?
I think the SEC West might be one of the more competitive divisions in all of college football. It always is. But I feel like this year, especially with, you got some coaches in the SEC West. Jimbo Fisher, now at Texas A&M. The Aggies looked really good week 1. I know they didn't play against a high-quality opponent, but Jimbo bringing that physicality to Aggie Nation. LSU looked really well against the Miami Hurricanes. I didn't expect that to happen. I expected Mark Richt and that group to go out there and put the foot on the neck and keep going, but Ed Ogeron and that team showed some fight, showed some resiliency, came out with a win in that matchup. But Ole Miss is always a tricky state to go into due to Oxford, Mississippi. That is a crazy environment. I've been there twice. It's ridiculous. And Jordan Ta'amu, as good as Shea Patterson was for the Rebels, Jordan Ta'amu is probably even better than he is. The Rebels keep a fresh crop of wide receivers: DK Metcalf, DeMarcus Lodge, AJ Green, the leader of the group. You have not AJ Green, AJ Brown, the leader of the group. Excuse me, got NFL on the brain here. AJ Brown, leader of the group. They have a tight end, and Dawson Knox, who's pretty good also. So you go up against a Rebels team head coached by Matt Luke, offensive coordinator Phil Longo. The question for Ole Miss is always, do you have a running game to complement the passing game? Remains to be seen, but as always, when you go into Vaught Hemingway at Oxford, that is no laughing matter. That's a tough place to play.
Thank you so much, Stephen M. Smith, for joining us for The Real Deal on this first episode, and make sure to check out his podcast.
In my own words, man, the hottest show on the streets right now when you talk Alabama football. In my own words, the podcast.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Follow us on Twitter, TD Alabama Mag. Follow Coaching M. Smith and Real D _Jackson for more Alabama updates. And make sure to check us out more on YouTube. Make sure to check out future videos as well as we continue to have Alabama coverage 24/7. Do not miss it. Thank you for joining us.